The greatest illusion in a man's life is believing women fall in love with who he is, when in reality, they fall in love with how he makes her feel. Sounds simple, right? Wrong. This single truth has destroyed marriages, fueled billion-dollar dating industries, and kept countless men awake at 3 a.m. asking themselves, I did everything right, so why didn't it work? Here's the twist most men miss. Research shows that over 85% of women admit their attraction is shaped less by logic and more by shifting emotions. That means she can think you're perfect on paper and still ghost you by Tuesday. Brutal, yes, but reality doesn't care about your feelings. Now here's where it gets interesting. Sigma males exist in a completely different dimension when it comes to women. And the moment a Sigma finally understands this hidden truth, everything changes. Relationships stop being a frustrating puzzle and start to feel like he's cracked the master code. So buckle up, because once this clicks, you'll never see women, or yourself, the same way again. And don't worry, we'll keep it brutally honest with just enough edge to stop you from throwing your phone at the wall. Number 1, withdrawal creates obsession. It sounds harsh, but it's one of the most powerful lessons a Sigma male learns about women. When a man is always available, always texting back instantly, always orbiting her life, he stops being exciting. Predictability doesn't kill comfort, but it does kill curiosity. And once curiosity dies, desire isn't far behind. Women don't become addicted to what they fully understand, they become addicted to what feels just out of reach. That's why the Sigma male knows space doesn't weaken attraction, it amplifies it. Pulling back isn't about playing games or punishing her with silence. It's about protecting the connection from suffocation by disappearing into his own world for a while. That absence creates a vacuum, and nature hates a vacuum. She starts filling it with thoughts of him, replaying conversations, scrolling through his social media, and wondering why he's suddenly gone quiet. In that silence, he grows larger in her mind than he ever could by being constantly present. Withdrawal works because it taps into something primal. People value what's rare. Diamonds aren't desired for their utility but for their scarcity. A man who isn't glued to her side, who isn't desperate for her approval, becomes rare, and therefore unforgettable. She begins to measure other men against him, and most fail because they're too easy to read, too available, too ordinary. The Sigma doesn't withdraw to manipulate. He withdraws because he has a world of his own, projects, passions, solitude, and a mind that doesn't orbit around constant validation. That independence unsettles her in the best way. Instead of feeling abandoned, she feels pulled in deeper. The paradox is simple: the less he demands her attention, the more freely she gives it. By not being a permanent fixture, he becomes a haunting presence in her thoughts. She doesn't just want him back, she wants him on his terms. That's the shift where attraction turns into obsession. Because withdrawal isn't rejection, it's proof that his world doesn't collapse without her. And nothing makes a woman worship more than realizing a man's independence outweighs her influence. Number 2, she doesn't want equality, she wants polarity. This is the brutal truth most men never face, but every Sigma male eventually understands. Equality works beautifully in law, careers, and opportunities. But when it comes to attraction, equality is a spark killer. The moment a relationship feels like two roommates splitting bills and chores 50-50, passion begins to fade. Desire doesn't thrive in balance, it thrives in tension. In the magnetic pull between two forces that are opposite yet complementary. Women don't crave sameness. They crave contrast. She doesn't want a man who mirrors her moods, her rhythms, or her energy. She wants polarity, his calm when she's in chaos, his silence when she's overthinking, his grounded strength when her emotions run wild. That contrast is what makes her lean in. It's not about who's stronger or weaker, it's about who creates the spark. Most men fail here because they buy into the illusion that blending in makes them more lovable. They dull their edges, mute their masculinity, and play it safe. But safety without polarity breeds boredom. A woman might appreciate a man who always listens and agrees, but she'll never crave him. Desire needs friction. It needs him to hold his ground when she tests, to challenge her when she pushes too far, and to stay unapologetically himself, even when compromise would be easier. The Sigma doesn't chase equality and attraction because he knows balance is sterile. Instead, he embodies masculine polarity, not through force or arrogance, but by refusing to dilute who he is. That strength doesn't repel women, it magnetizes them. The more he holds his side of the polarity, the more freedom she has to sink into hers. That's where chemistry ignites. Not in sameness, but in difference. Once he accepts this, he stops feeling guilty for being the calm one, the detached one, the mysterious one. He realizes it's exactly that energy that keeps her restless around him, never able to get too comfortable, never able to lose interest. Polarity is what transforms relationships from dull companionship into electric connection. And once the Sigma learns this, he never again confuses equality with attraction. Number 3, her body reveals what her words conceal. A Sigma male eventually learns this: the body never lies. Words can be polished, rehearsed, or strategically misleading. But the body? The body betrays every hidden truth. No matter how carefully she tries to mask her feelings, biology leaks through the cracks. She leans in unconsciously, lingers longer than she planned, or laughs at something she swore wasn't funny. These tiny signals speak louder than any sentence. The Sigma doesn't chase verbal confirmations. He studies the micro-movements she doesn't realize she's giving away: a flick of her hair when he walks in, feet pointed toward him in a crowded room, pupils subtly widening when he locks eyes with her. Together, these cues form an unspoken confession she would never dare put into words. She might insist she isn't interested, but her nervous smile betrays her. She might claim she's moved on, but her breath quickens when he's near. And once the Sigma understands this, he no longer wastes energy interrogating, overthinking, or demanding clarity. He knows her body speaks first, her words only follow after, often to explain or deny what biology already revealed. Where most men get lost in contradictions, believing what she says while ignoring what she shows, the Sigma trusts the whispers her body can't suppress. This doesn't mean he manipulates her with the knowledge. It means he moves with sharper awareness, knowing when to lean in, when to pull back, and when to let silence do the work. Because her body holds the secrets she'll never admit aloud. And the Sigma's strength is hearing those unspoken truths with absolute clarity. Number 4, she wants to be ruined, but safely. Here lies one of the paradoxes few men ever grasp, but the Sigma male eventually masters. At her core, a woman doesn't only crave tenderness, security, or predictability. Those things may comfort her, but they don't ignite her. What sparks obsession is the man who can overwhelm her, responsibly. Not through recklessness. Not through cruelty. But through intensity balanced with restraint. She desires the thrill of danger, placed in the hands of someone she trusts not to destroy her. And the Sigma delivers exactly that. He doesn't dull his edges to appear safe, nor does he swing them wildly to prove dominance. Instead, he carries an energy that makes her pulse quicken, because she knows he could undo her, but he chooses not to. That choice, the control of power, is what creates the deepest form of attraction. It's the emotional equivalent of standing close to fire. She feels the heat, the risk, the possibility of being consumed, yet she trusts he won't let her burn. This is why women often describe their most intoxicating connections as dangerous but safe. They don't crave only the protector or only the destroyer, they crave the paradox. The man who can disrupt their world, yet also be the only place they feel steady. The Sigma becomes unforgettable because he embodies both. He shakes her out of her comfort zone while grounding her in a security no one else can provide. And once he realizes this truth, he never hides his intensity, nor does he weaponize it. He wields it with precision, revealing just enough edge to make her surrender, not out of weakness, but out of trust. This is the Sigma's ultimate unlock. Women don't want only safety or only chaos. They crave the rare man who fuses both. The one who can ruin them in ways that thrill, and rebuild them in ways that heal. That paradox doesn't just attract, it obsesses. Number 5, attraction isn't a democracy. Attraction doesn't operate like democracy, and the Sigma male's perspective shifts the moment he accepts that truth. Most men cling to the illusion that effort guarantees results, that if they play fair, treat her equally, and mirror her energy, she'll reward them with attraction. But attraction doesn't work on fairness. It isn't a vote. It isn't earned through tally marks. Women don't fall for men because they deserved it. They fall because his presence disrupts her emotional rhythm, because the tension he creates stirs something inside her. The Sigma male learns not to expect equal effort. She may never text back as fast, plan as many dates, or match his intensity word for word. That doesn't mean she's disinterested. It means attraction isn't transactional, it's emotional. What hooks her isn't balance. It's imbalance. Predictability kills curiosity, but asymmetry creates gravity. A man who is steady in his core but unpredictable in his moves keeps her guessing, and guessing sustains desire far longer than fairness ever could. If she leans in and he always mirrors her, the rhythm becomes flat. But if he sometimes leans in, sometimes holds back, sometimes withdraws, suddenly, she's intrigued. For the Sigma, this isn't manipulation, it's recognition. Men who expect fairness in attraction set themselves up for constant frustration. He stops keeping score, stops asking why she didn't match his energy, and instead studies the shifting current of emotions and timing. By riding the wave rather than fighting it, he plays by the real rules. Attraction thrives on tension, not symmetry. And the man who embraces that asymmetry doesn't just capture her attention, he keeps it. Number 6, her words are PR, not policy. The Sigma male's mindset shifts the day he stops treating a woman's words as law and starts judging her by her actions. Because here's the truth, her words are public relations. Her behavior is policy. Women, like men, use words as social currency. They say what sounds right, what maintains harmony, what protects their image. That doesn't mean they're lying, it means their words are polished, packaged, and shaped by what they want to believe, or what they think they should say. But attraction doesn't live in speeches. It lives in behavior. She can say she wants a nice, dependable guy. Yet the man who stirs her heart is the one who doesn't beg for her approval. She might claim she values stability above all else, but then she becomes addicted to the thrill of unpredictability. These contradictions aren't hypocrisy, they're human nature. She may believe her own PR, but her real choices reveal her policy. Most men fall into the trap of following her script, trying to embody the man she describes. The Sigma refuses. Instead, he watches where she invests her time, who she gives her energy to, and what makes her light up without realizing it. Those votes reveal more than her speeches ever could. This simple shift puts him miles ahead. He stops getting frustrated when her words and actions don't align, because he expects the gap. He studies it. He understands it. And by following her real behavior, not her carefully curated words, he never gets blindsided. That's the difference. The average man listens to her PR. The Sigma male watches her votes. And it's always the votes that tell the truth about where her heart really is. Number 7, security isn't sexy by default. Security alone doesn't ignite desire. Society tells men that stacking money, building stability, and offering reliability will naturally make women want them. Sure, those things open doors, but they don't guarantee attraction, only comfort. And comfort is not desire. Comfort makes her appreciate you, depend on you, even respect you. But it won't make her restless at night, craving you with fire in her veins. The Sigma male understands this distinction. Security without energy is like a house without electricity, safe, protective, useful, but lifeless. What makes security magnetic is when it's fused with danger. Stability that excites instead of dulls her senses. That paradox makes a man unforgettable, the calm in her storm, but also the storm itself when the moment demands it. Too much safety without edge turns into boredom. Too much danger without trust creates chaos. The Sigma balances both. Protective but unpredictable, thrilling but disciplined. That duality transforms attraction into obsession. Most men confuse responsibility with magnetism. They think being reliable is enough to keep her desire alive. But she doesn't crave the man who only brings safety. She craves the man who can pull her into fire, and then make her feel safe within it. The Sigma doesn't apologize for his unpredictability, his mystery, his edge. Because he knows those are the sparks that make his security alive instead of stale. Security earns gratitude. But security laced with danger earns desire. And once he sees this truth, he stops trying to be the safe choice. He becomes the paradox women can't walk away from. Number 8, she's loyal to the emotion, not the man. This revelation flips everything. Men grow up believing women are loyal to who they are, their history, sacrifices, or status. But women aren't loyal to identity. They're loyal to emotion. Her loyalty lives in the present tense. Attraction, devotion, and desire are tied to how she feels right now. That's why, forever, can collapse overnight. She may have sworn she'd never leave and meant it, but when the emotional current shifts, her loyalty shifts with it. It isn't betrayal. It's biology. Women are wired to stay connected to the strongest emotional experience in their life. When that source changes, her attachment follows without hesitation. The Sigma no longer sees this as betrayal. He understands she wasn't loyal to him, but to the emotions he created in her. When those emotions faded, so did the bond. Loyalty isn't about promises, it's about emotional maintenance. Instead of clinging to the past, the Sigma stays present. He keeps embodying the energy that drew her in, instead of relying on yesterday's achievements. He doesn't take her always literally, because he knows it really means, as long as I feel this way. This clarity frees him. He doesn't beg, doesn't cling, doesn't crumble when emotions shift. He adapts or walks away without bitterness. Because he knows the truth, women are loyal to the feelings a man gives them, not the man in theory. And when he accepts this, he becomes untouchable. Number 9, attention is her currency, not yours. For most women, attention isn't just nice, it's survival. Compliments, likes, messages, stares, validation, these are the oxygen that fuels her sense of worth. The mistake men make is thinking the more attention they pour in, the stronger the connection becomes. But constant attention dulls its value. Like background noise, it stops being noticed. The Sigma flips the script. He gives attention sparingly, intentionally. Not as punishment, but to preserve its weight. When it comes from him, it carries impact because it's rare. A look, a word, even a subtle gesture lands harder because it isn't constant. This forces women to lean in, to earn it, to crave it. His restraint creates a dynamic where she invests energy into keeping his gaze. And that's why she burns brighter around him, not because he smothers her, but because she strives to unlock his attention. He doesn't play cruel games. He simply doesn't overpay with her favorite currency. That makes his presence stand out in a sea of desperate men. By treating his attention as rare, he makes it worth chasing. Number 10, chemistry isn't consent. Attraction feels like lightning. A glance, a laugh, a spark, and suddenly the air shifts. But here's the trap: men confuse chemistry with consent. They think the spark is a green light to move without restraint. It isn't. Chemistry is energy, not permission. The Sigma knows that discipline must stay intact, even when sparks are flying. He can feel the electricity without letting it hijack his judgment. Because attraction without respect burns out fast. Women test men most in these moments. They want to see, will he lose control? Will he get sloppy, desperate, entitled? Or will he keep his composure, showing he can handle the fire without being consumed by it? That's what sets him apart. He doesn't treat chemistry as the contract, it's just the opening handshake. And because of that, his presence commands more trust, more respect, and ultimately more desire. Number 11. Validation is addictive, not romantic. Validation feels like intimacy, but it isn't. Compliments, flattery, constant praise, for many women, these are dopamine hits, not emotional bonds. It soothes insecurities for a moment, but never satisfies. Most men drown women in validation, thinking it creates connection. But it just feeds an appetite that never ends. The Sigma knows better. He refuses to be background noise in her endless search for reassurance. Instead, he uses validation sparingly, authentically, and precisely. That's what makes his words stand out from the flood of empty approval she receives daily. His praise registers as recognition, not addiction. Because he isn't trapped in the validation economy, he becomes different. He doesn't compete, doesn't overpay, and doesn't confuse her gratitude with intimacy. His restraint makes him unforgettable. Number 12, her past doesn't retire. Most men want to believe a woman's past disappears once they enter her life. But the past doesn't vanish, it lingers in echoes. Old lovers, memories, scars, they're archived, not deleted. Some fade, others still echo. The Sigma doesn't try to erase her past. He knows it's not competition, it's context. What matters isn't being her only story, but being the loudest one in the present. He doesn't punish her for echoes. He simply asks, when I walk into the room, does the music shift in my favor? If yes, then the past fades. If no, he walks away. He doesn't live in illusions. He knows every man leaves an imprint, but not all imprints last. What matters isn't who came first, it's who resonates deepest. And when he plays his role fully, her past becomes just background noise. The breakthrough. The Sigma's transformation happens when he finally drops illusions. He stops believing that security equals desire, that words equal permanence, or that validation equals intimacy. He reads between the lines, respects the pull of biology, and plays the game most men don't even see. He doesn't fear her shifting emotions or her lingering past. He doesn't confuse comfort for attraction. He becomes scarce, grounded, and unshakable. And because of that, he isn't just part of her story, he becomes the story she can't stop telling herself. So if this opened your eyes, don't just sit back. Hit subscribe, like this video, drop your thoughts in the comments, and share it with someone who needs to hear this truth. Because once you understand this, you stop playing checkers, and start playing the real game happening beneath the surface.